Hey squad, how are we doing today? Welcome to today's episode of the Squad Podcast with your girl. I'm your coach, Coach Tocha Moore. I'm excited to be here with you, and I cannot wait for us to get into this episode. Y'all, first of all, if it's your first time, welcome to the Squad Podcast. Y'all don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you can stay in the know of all the things that are going on with Combat Ready. As you can see behind me, the logo, we have a conference coming up. I'm very excited about that. And so just so that you can stay in the know, please hit subscribe so I can always let you know what's going on with us. And for those of you joining us continually every week, thank you so much for showing up and being part of the squad. Let me check in with you. How are you doing? Are you reaching your goals? Are you accomplishing the things that you said? If we are, what do we do over here at the squad? We give ourselves a big old hug and say, yes, girl, yes, I'm winning. I'm doing what I said. And if we're not, it's okay. We're going to clap it up, clap it down, however you want to do it. New slate, clean slate, start again. You're capable of doing the things that you said. Don't get down on yourself just because you may not be where you want to be. Complete transparency, I have not reached many of the goals that I've set for myself for this year. And when I reflect on where I am, I've accomplished more in other areas that I didn't think about. So that's a win, right? On today, I know I'm usually like full of energy, and I am in a different way. Today, we're going to be reading and talking about my book, y'all. Thought, Lord, like, what am I supposed to share with the squad next? And this came to me. And so I have my tissue. It's got to be one of those episodes. I feel it coming already. So my book, for those of you who do not know, is entitled A Letter to a Father, All the Things You Want to Say. I did not know my biological father growing up. I had my dad, the man that raised me. I love him. Shout out Richard Williams. And now I know my biological father. Shout out to Ronald Sumter. And I'm going to be talking about this book that I wrote where I felt angry and unloved and so many other emotions for a lot of my life. And I did not understand why I was stuck in anger. And this is a book that I wrote, and it's just straight talk about the things looking back that I needed to say to my biological father. And so for every man, woman, boy, girl that may not know your biological father, if you do not have a copy, I encourage you to get one. It's available on Amazon. A Letter to a Father, All the Things You Want to Say. And maybe you had both of your parents. Maybe it's someone who has passed away and you didn't get to tell them some of the things. This book is about writing out your emotions, writing a letter to them. So that's why it's called A Letter to a Father, All the Things You Want to Say. I'm going to get into it. Let's go. Whew, y'all, I know I'm going to cry this episode. I already know that I am. And it's okay. This show is for people to highlight their truths. That's the truth of why the show was created. And my truth was I walked around angry for a very long time at my biological father and I didn't even know him. Looking back, I realized it was just because I was a little girl who didn't feel loved by the person, one of the people who I felt should love me. And so I wanted to share some of my journey through that with y'all on the squad, because maybe it will resonate with someone some way. And so I'm going to open up and be vulnerable. You know, we like authenticity over here. So that's why I have my tissue handy. I feel like I'm going to need it today. So if y'all are ready, let's get started. So one of the chapters that I wanted to share with you, not the whole thing, I'm not going to read the book, so don't think I'm about to be reading the book. I'm not. I'm going to share some parts that I felt would resonate with you, possibly. Chapter 4 is honestly where I want to start. And this chapter is entitled Power. Take back your power. One of the things that I realized in being so angry at my biological father was that I was giving him power over my life that I didn't even realize that I was giving to him. And so one of the quotes that I wanted to share with y'all from the book was, reclaiming my power meant setting boundaries that honored my worth. Do y'all hear me? Reclaiming my power meant setting boundaries that helped me understand my worth. Because for a very long time I didn't. And I'm going to read you this little part from the book. Nobody wants to hear that you aren't taking responsibility for your own life. It's so much easier to just place all the wrong we have on someone else. But by placing blame for a situation on another person, we are in essence giving them all the power. The truth of the matter is everyone we all go through stuff, right? We have things that we've gone through, dealt with from children to adulthood. And sometimes the inclination is to put the blame on someone else. Well, I'm that way because of this. I'm that way because for me, in my instance, I didn't have my biological father in my life. And so I walked around angry and all the things. And I justified it by saying, I don't really care because my biological father wasn't in my life and he should have loved me and taught me how to be loved by men, all the things. I'll be honest, looking back, I was so mean to some of the people that I dated, and I felt justified in it because my biological father didn't teach me how to be he didn't love me. Now my dad was there loving my mother, showing me what it looked like, but in my brain I felt like I could still be mad at every man in my life because my biological father was not a part of my life. I didn't know him. I had a lot of resentment and anger toward him that he didn't even know about, right? I was in a place where I was angry, upset, didn't even care if I ever met him. And the truth of it is, because I was a little girl that was hurt by why wasn't I good enough for him to be there, to be a part of my life, is how I felt. I felt like, why wasn't I good enough? And so when I think back of power, then that's what made me feel powerful, being mean and feeling like I could do whatever. It made me feel like I have all the power. Versus now realizing me releasing that anger and hurt and resentment was what gave me more power, true and real power in essence. Me being angry at a man who was not there, who really didn't know anything about me or my life, did nothing for me except push away the people that really did truly love me. And when I realized I was pushing everyone away that really did care about who I was and who I was becoming, I was able to take back the power that I thought I had, but I really didn't. I was just mean. I didn't have any power. I was just being mean to people, which I thought made me powerful because everybody would, bow to my will, so to speak. And that wasn't the truth. I realized that by me letting go of all the things that I thought made me powerful, it was when I was able to walk into my true power. And that was a place of freedom, that I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't upset or resentful or, I don't want to say hate, but a lot of disdain. I would cringe when people even mentioned his name. And so in letting go of what I felt like was power, I was able to gain true power. And I realized that I had given my power away when I got so upset when people would mention him as my dad, and I was not allowing people to love me the way that they wanted to. For instance, my husband. And I realized that I had given this man who I did not know so much power in my life, even though I felt like he has no power over me, he don't even know me, he's missing out, all these things. I realized now that I had given him power. He didn't know nothing about me. I was walking around telling people, that's not my dad. He is. And he was, and he still is. And what shifted for me was when I realized I was putting expectations on my husband and my children to fulfill the void, the empty space in my life. Not realizing that I had needed to do the work for God to come in and heal it and replace it with his joy. I'm a God girl, so whatever you believe. And I had given him control of this space in my heart and my mind that just wanted to be mad at everyone about everything. And it shifted when I realized me being angry and upset didn't change anything in his life. It changed everything in mine, nothing in his, because he didn't even know. I was walking around angry at the world, and it didn't change anything for him. And it was changing everything for me. I'm sure at some point my husband was probably like, I can't do this. And my kids probably wondered why I always questioned if I was a good mom. And I would ask them, am I a good mom? Am I a good mom? Even my friends, am I a good friend? And so I realized that I'd given someone power that they didn't deserve. And it shifted. I didn't want to be angry anymore. I didn't want to walk around disliking people that I didn't even know. I didn't want to not let people in. And I think that was what shifted. And I realized I have got to let this go, or I'm never, ever, ever going to be the best version of myself that I could be. Because I wasn't. That's the truth. And I think sometimes as women, we unknowingly surrender our power because we just get angry or upset, or we get closed off. I built up, I won't even say a wall, it was a whole house probably around my heart, just because I didn't want to be hurt again. And I think from the perspective of a father-daughter dynamic, when the man who we feel like should be there or should have been there isn't, I know for me, I transposed that onto all the other men in my life. I felt like they would leave or they wouldn't be there. I couldn't really trust them because I would do something that made me not good enough and they would eventually go. Because I wasn't good enough for the man that helped create me, bringing me into this world, what would make me good enough for any other man? And I think it made me hard on my husband concerning our daughters because I never wanted them to feel like he didn't care. And so I think sometimes we unknowingly surrender our power because we then transpose a father not being there to every other man, not being there in some way, or trying to hold him to a standard of perfection, like he had to get everything right. And I think we unwillingly give our power because we expect our dads are kind of like a superhero, right? You expect for them to get it all right and to come in and save the day, and they're human just like you and I. And they're going to make mistakes just like you and I. And so I think I had the superhero mentality. I expected my husband to be the superhero. And he's a man, just like I'm a woman, right? And so I realized that I had to reclaim my voice because I had given it to someone else. I had this bubbly, nice, no, I'm just kidding, person that you see in front of you. I wasn't me. And I had given my power and my voice to someone who wasn't there. And reclaiming it looked like, for me, making proclamations in the mirror because I could not affirm something that I did not yet believe. And affirmation is something that you're holding to come to fruition. I am a good mom. I am a great wife. Things that you believe in. So I would just have to stand in the mirror and say, I am a good wife, even though I didn't believe it. No part of me felt that. I'm a good mom. I am worthy of love. That was something I had to say to myself. I am beautiful. By no means did I believe that at all. I never felt pretty. And I had to stand in the mirror and say those things to myself until I came to a place where I believed what I was saying. So proclaim it until you can affirm it, my girls. Because I didn't believe that I was worthy of love. I didn't believe that I was capable of loving from a healthy perspective. And I also realized I didn't want my children to repeat my behavior and my feelings. And I also didn't want my husband to feel like he couldn't get anything wrong. And so reclaiming my voice reconnected me to my purpose. It caused me to write this book, which in turn healed parts of me that needed to be healed and allowed me to see that I'm an encourager to other women. I resonate with women. In rooms that I've walked in that I've never been in, people I've never met, I end up having conversations with them and I'm like, how in the world? Like, I've never met them. We find something in common. We're talking about it and it's like, what is going on right now? And so for me, taking back my power and my voice, I was able to become Coach Tocha Moore and understand that I'm worthy of every good thing God gives me. And I didn't always feel that way. One of the excerpts from chapter 4 is, I had to unlearn the belief that my voice didn't matter. I had to relearn that God had given me something to say and it was valuable. I didn't feel like I had a voice because it's like, the little girl in me was like, well, my biological father didn't care. No one else is going to care what I have to say. And so I was quiet and shy and would sit in rooms and wouldn't say anything. And then I didn't even understand why, because I was so young. I just would always feel like I'm not going to talk and I'm not going to say anything. And so I was really, really shy, anti-people, completely different than my anti-social, say hello and be in the room. And that was me. And then I realized that little girl had a voice. She just never learned to use it. And then when I found out that my dad was not my dad, and then the whole thing, with my biological father, it felt like even more of my voice was taken away. And I had to come to a place where I understood that what you have to say matters and your thoughts and your opinions are valuable. Everyone might not value them, and that's okay. They may not understand them and they may not agree with it. And that's fine. And that doesn't mean you don't have something to say. And so that's what I learned, my voice matters. I can share my thoughts and opinions. People may not agree, and that's okay. Doesn't mean it doesn't matter. It matters. It truly does. And so I had to come to that place where I realized, girl, your voice matters and your thoughts and opinions are valuable. And then one of the other excerpts from the book that I wanted to share with y'all is, power isn't loud. Sometimes it's quiet, firm, and necessary, especially when setting boundaries. I told you before, I was like, I'm powerful. I'm a woman, hear me roar. I don't need no man. All this That was me, y'all. I'm gonna raise both my hands on that. Both my hands. That's where I lived. Like, I could do it myself. I don't need help. I don't need anyone. I even can remember in school, I didn't like group work. I don't want to do group work. I'd rather just do all the work myself. I remember being in groups and telling them, I'm gonna do all the work. Y'all just show up on that day. I'm gonna give you your parts that you need to say. That's how bad it was. That's how closed off I was. That's how much I felt like that's what power meant. Like, me being in control, me doing all the things. I don't need anybody. I'm good by myself. I lived in there, in the pocket of, I got it. I don't need you. I got it. I don't need them. I got it. I don't need friends. I got it. I got it. I got it. Nice enough that I wasn't by myself, but also mean enough that I'm gonna need you to hear me when I say what I say. And I'm gonna need you to listen when I say. That's what I felt like power was. What I thought power was. Totally not that. It's totally not that. It's when you can walk in your true authenticity, understanding that you do need people. You do need love. You do need all of the things I was telling myself I didn't need. That's when my true power came into place, when I was like, you know what? I used to say, and I still say it every now and then as an adult, and I have to retract that. I don't play well with others. I would say that. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, I don't work. It's like, yes, you do. You just have to choose to. Y'all hear me today? And so, where's one, all those listening, write down. Let's do some work. We're going to be working through this. Where is one area in your life or one place you need to take back your voice? Maybe it's in the office and you have things that you want to say, but you don't say it because you feel like, I'm not qualified. That was me. I'm not qualified to say anything in this room. You are. You're in the room. You're in the room. So you're qualified to say something. Does anybody have anything to say? I do. Where's one place you need to reclaim your voice? For me, it was in my life and in my family. I needed to reclaim my voice so that I could be a better version of myself. And in reclaiming that voice, I found my purpose. I became open to the version of me that I was always supposed to be, but I was too hurt and closed off to see her. I was always the person that people came to and asked for advice. I was the person that people brought their friends to that would say, hey, can I talk to you for a second? But I didn't realize her path and her purpose because I was still walking around in anger and so much hurt. So where's an area that you need to reclaim your voice? All right, let's go on to chapter 5. It's actually one of my favorite chapters in the book. I love it all, don't get me wrong. This one, when I came up with, I was like, ooh, this is a good one. Let me see. A letter to a father. Oh no, those are the letters. If you don't have the book, I encourage you to please order it. It has some really great stuff in it. It's got some proclamations and stuff that I said. Okay, why am I not able to find chapter 5? I know it's in here. It's in the book now. Anyway, chapter 5 is entitled Return to Sender. That right there is a whole game. Hair standing up on my arms. It gave me chills. Return to sender. That person doesn't live here anymore. Y'all, I feel like that's a whole episode right there. I'm going to read you the first page. Walk into the post office with your heart and change the address. Let the devil know that he doesn't live here and he doesn't reign here anymore. Hatred, return to sender. Anger, return to sender. Malice, return to sender. Strife, return to sender. Self-doubt, return to sender. Inadequacy, return to sender. Bitterness, return to sender. All the things that you have down in your heart under lock and key, return them to the sender. All the wrong things that you have in your heart. Do y'all hear me? What does return to sender mean in your healing journey? It means allowing yourself to sit with yourself and say, what are these emotions that I'm feeling? And then say, you know what? The emotions that do not align with who God says that I am are from the devil. I'm going to return that to sender. That don't live here anymore. I was angry. I was upset. I was a borderline hatred. Return to sender. Bitterness, return to sender. Malice, return. So what does it look like in your healing journey for you to say, I send that back where it came from? That's not who I am. It's just like when people bring up, oh, do you remember when you used to? I do. That's not who I am anymore. Return to sender. I remember that version I heard. Yeah, listen, my friend was like, girl, you was ready on any given day. Like if somebody wanted it, they could get it. She right. Return to sender. Now I use wisdom and I say the things that I need to say with love and kindness, not with anger and resentment and bitterness. I tell my children, you can say the things you want to say in a right way. I was saying it before in all the wrong ways. And now I know that I can articulate myself in a manner that says this is how I'm feeling, this is where I am, and talk through it. Y'all with me on today? Returning to sender on my healing journey looked like saying, that's not who I want to be. I don't want to be that hurt little girl anymore. I want to be able to walk into the fullness of the woman that I am. I dealt with things from the hurt little girl perspective. And now I can deal with them from the healed woman perspective. Not perfect, healed and healing. Okay? How can we identify the pain that doesn't actually belong to? For me, it was knowing every time somebody mentioned his voice, I would cringe. And they would say, oh, he's so nice. How can we identify when they say something about that person or something comes and you feel that internal, like, you don't roll your eyes, but you want to? You simply sit there, or sometimes every time say, don't talk about them in my presence. That's when you know you have not let it go, you have not returned it to sender, and you are still holding on to some part of it. And how do we begin to identify that pain? Is that when someone mentions their name, does it immediately make you angry and or upset? Are you brought to a place of tears every time you think about them? If that is the case, I would encourage you to sit with that. Talk to someone about it. Every time this person's name comes up, I get angry. Every time this name is brought up, I feel so sad. Every time this name comes up, that's a pain, y'all, that probably doesn't belong to you. For me, it was really and truly disliking this man in such a way that when someone mentioned his name, it was that internal boiling up. Like, I was mad. Not like, it was like an internal, like, the lady in the grocery store was like, hey, I saw your dad. I was like, you didn't. She kind of taken it back, like, ooh, I feel so bad. And I remember the conversation, but I don't remember who it was. I would still go back and apologize because I was on the, no, you didn't. She was like, okay. Because I'm, in my brain, my dad is in Germany. My dad, no, you didn't see him. You saw Ronald, my biological father. They're different. And I was like, you're carrying something that's not yours to carry. You're mad at him for not being there. That's not on you to carry that. That's his weight to carry. He wasn't there, and God sent someone else. And now he's here. I know him now. But you're carrying this anger, this weight, and this resentment that you need to let go of. So I had to let go of the anger and the resentment. But I also had to hold on to that little girl so that I could walk her through the process of healing. And that was to protect my daughters so that they wouldn't grow up feeling like men were going to leave them. So I had to let go of that in order to protect them. So I had to let go of feeling angry and not good enough and all the things, because at the end of the day, I realized my daughters are mimicking my behavior, whether I want them to or not. They are. They see you. They see their parents. They get traits of their parents, learn behavior from their parents. And so me letting go allowed me to protect them, allowed me to show them what love from a man and loving a man looks like. In letting go, I was able to open my heart truly to my husband. So the difference in letting go was I had to let go of the anger, but I also held on to that little girl that needed some loving. I just didn't dismiss it like, oh, little girl, get over it. It was, all right, let me have a conversation with you. And that's what I did, y'all. I one day sat as if there was somebody sitting in front of me, and I said, you're worthy of love. I know you didn't feel like it, and maybe some part of you still doesn't. And I really did sit like I'm doing right now and say, but even though you didn't feel like you are beautiful. And you are worthy of every good thing that you get. Because part of me felt like if he wasn't there, because I always felt like when good things would happen, that I would just be waiting for the bottom to fall out, for the ball to drop, or, like you see a little bit of sunshine, you're like, oh, the rain's coming. That's like how I lived in my life. Like when something good happened, it'd be like, oh, well, something bad's coming along after it. And so I learned that I had to just sit with myself and tell myself the things that I felt like I needed to hear as that little girl. And so when you're returning something to the sender, return it from a place of release and love and not of bitterness. Like, I'm giving this back to him. It's like, no, I love me enough now that I've got to let this go. And if the person picks it up on the other side, then that's on them. But coming from a place of love and not bitterness, like, oh, I'm sending this back to him. He needs to feel all of this. He should feel bad for all. Coming from a place of, thank you, Lord, for allowing me to learn to love me. And in that, returning to sender allowed me to say, God, and I forgive him. Even though part of me felt like he didn't deserve it, I forgave him for me, not for him. That's what returning to sender looks like, y'all. Forgiving the person for yourself. Not them. That's from a place of love, because I wanted to love me fully, and I could never do that holding on to everything that I was holding on to. And so I allowed myself to forgive me for being angry and upset, feeling less than, and all the things, and then forgive him for just not being there. And once I did that, asking God to help me open my heart, so if he did ever decide to come, there was a space for him. That was hard. I'm not even gonna lie to you and tell you that it wasn't. It really and truly was, because I was like, he don't deserve to be a part of my life or part of my daughter's life, and all of the things that I said. And I realized this isn't for him. It's for you and them and my husband. And so I realized that I had to return it in a loving way. And that meant opening my heart, telling myself that doesn't live here anymore, but doesn't mean I'm sending it back to the person. Return to sender, y'all, it's a play on words. The sender is the enemy, and I'm gonna send it back. Go back. I'm not her. That's not who I am. But the place of love was opening my heart to my pop, as I call him, and realizing there was room for him too. So I packed the pain and sent it back, not from a place of malice, but a place of necessity, because it wasn't mine anymore to carry. And so I'm encouraging you, if that's you today, understand that letting it go was an act of love, not betrayal. Because I felt like I was betraying myself if I let it go. Like, you caving in, you letting go of your power. No, but the truth is I was gaining it. And I loved me enough to let it go and forgive him. And that helped me love him enough to open my heart to let him in if he wanted to walk through. So what are you carrying that's not yours to hold? Squad, what are you carrying that's not yours to hold anymore? And what would it look like for you to let it go? What would it look like for you to come to a place where you say, I forgive them? Whether they've passed away, you're not talking to them anymore, you haven't had the opportunity to say it, maybe they weren't there, it doesn't matter. Y'all write a letter. I encourage people that all the time. I'm even going to be doing a class, the retreat. I'm not exactly sure of the whole setup of it, but it's going to be something where we write a letter. I had to have my godson do that. He was like, ooh, that was hard. To his biological father, I talked him through it and helped him navigate it. It's hard because you're writing things you probably never thought you would say or things you've said before. And it's hard to process and go through and walk through those emotions. But I'm here to help. If you name me, DM, I'll help you walk through it. And then we had a conversation after about like how he felt. He was like, oh my goodness. So we talked through some things with him. So who or what are you still carrying that you need to let go of? And what does it look like for you to lovingly release it? Y'all, relationships are difficult. They're so hard. Learning to navigate them in what I like to say, these real life waters, helps not just us, but the people around us. One of the things that I said in chapter 5 is changing your view is a game changer. Changing the way I viewed it, thought about it, received it, looked at it, changed everything for me. It changed who I was, who I wanted to be, how I looked at things. It made me understand that I was enough. I always was. You are enough. Whether the person was there or not, that you got to tell them how you felt or not, you're enough, and you always have been. And through this, that's what I realized more than anything. I am enough. And I always was. So y'all understand that whether a person was in your life or not, you're enough. Take back your power and return those things to sender. Y'all write the letter. Maybe someone that you need to say the things to is not here. Write it anyway. And the last thing I'm going to share with you before we get into it, I think I'm going to share the letter I wrote to my Heavenly Father. The end of the book is compilations. It's a letter that I wrote to my biological father, to my dad that raised me, to my spiritual father, and to my Heavenly Father. So I'm going to try to read the whole thing, but if I don't, that's okay. Y'all bear with me. To my Heavenly Father, God, I want to start with saying thank you. Thank you for sending your son to die for me, as unworthy as I am. Thank you for always protecting me, loving me, pursuing me, showing favor toward me and my family, being patient with me and forgiving me. I pray with all my heart that I am the light that you have designed me to be. I thank you for allowing me to be your tangible hands here on earth and using me to get a letter to a father into the world. Your grace extends to me daily, and my faith is renewed daily with the new mercies I see. I tell my daughters every morning to make good choices and to be the light that shines through the darkness. And I hope that I'm an example of that. I wake up every day trying to be perfect, to get everything right, so that I do not disappoint you. And you are always there to gently remind me that there is only one perfect man, and his name was Jesus. Now I just strive for excellence. When I think about how many times I have been covered by your mercy throughout my life, I am exceedingly grateful. Thank you for choosing me to serve this earth. I know that my words can never amount to what you mean to me. But I know you see my heart, and I pray that you are proud to call me your daughter. My hope is that when my words don't match what is in my heart, the way that I live my life does. I love you, Lord, with all that I am and everything that I'm not. And it is my desire to show you how much with the choices that I make daily. Thank you for loving me until I see you again, Tocha. And even now that's changed, y'all. I wrote this book 7 years ago. Wow. And as I grow in him, that has changed. I don't strive for excellence. I just do my best to be obedient. Like, I'm not going to get it all right. And I understand that even more now. My hope is that when my words don't match what's in my heart, the way that I live my life does. And that's true. And so, if you don't have a copy, it's available on Amazon. A Letter to a Father, all the things you want to say. To everyone that's out there that feels inadequate, I just want to encourage you that you're enough. And you always have been. You just have to decide that you want to see that. All right, y'all. Woo! That was a lot. Let's get into these rapid fire questions. We're going to light it up a little bit. Please tag somebody who needs to hear this today. Parents, if you have children, talk to them. If their biological parent isn't in their life, please talk to them. If you have questions, please reach out to me. There's probably some part of them that doesn't feel enough. They may never say it or may never show it. I know I had questions. I really and truly did. If you have questions, if you read the book, please put a comment below the post that's going to be on Instagram. You can comment on the podcast. Y'all, please, if you've read A Letter to a Father and you got any nugget from it, please share it with me. I would love to hear it. And I would love to come back on next week and read some of those on an episode. Y'all, parental relationships are parental relationship. I just want to encourage you that you can navigate them well. There's going to be choices that you have to make along the way that help you that way. And I know for me, I didn't feel like my biological father deserved my forgiveness. And the truth is, maybe he did or didn't, but I deserved to be free. Do y'all hear me? Maybe I felt like maybe you feel like the other person doesn't deserve it. You deserve to be free. Do it for you. All right. Rapid fire. Let's get there. What's your comfort food after a hard day? Ice cream. 100%. Ice cream, a cookie, a piece of cake. Now, I don't do it all the time because I have to learn to navigate food well. And so, but really sometimes after a hard day, just sitting down with a little bit of ice cream, makes your girl feel like, oh, I could fight another day, right? I've started on the Tilling. Is that what it? Listen, that snickerdoodle, I'm just saying. All right, what song gets you hyped when you feel discouraged? Cause I'm unstoppable, I get all the way in it. Corn Hawthorne, that's my girl. Cause I'm unstoppable, I love that song. Ain't no hoping and wishing. Say a prayer, catch a wave, and I go out and get it. That's my song. That hypes me up every single time. I'm unstoppable. If you could say one sentence to your younger self, what would it be? You are worthy of love, and you are capable of love. And you are enough. Grace or boundaries? What are you learning more about these days? Boundaries. I think boundaries. Boundaries. Learning to set them and honor them and being okay with them and know that they're okay for me to set boundaries. So boundaries. Favorite line you've ever written in your journal? My goodness. The favorite line that I've ever written in my journal. You know what? That's a great walk in purpose, because your purpose connects to someone else and they can't walk in theirs until you walk in yours. That would be my favorite line. Yeah, walk in your purpose, y'all. I hope that today encouraged someone to write a letter if you need to. Go out and purchase this book if you haven't. So many things are in this. And man, I kind of feel like I need to write a version 2 of this because I'm different. And I feel like maybe there's some things that I left out because I honestly, y'all, I was like, I have to get this book. This is actually my daughter's copy. I gave every one of them one. So, and my spiritual father wrote my foreword in the book. So anyway, y'all, go out and get your copy today if you don't have one already. A Letter to a Father, all the things you want to say. It's not, for me, it was a letter to a father. Maybe you need to write a letter to someone else that's hurt you, that's done you wrong, or somebody who you have not forgiven for something that has happened. I want to encourage you today to let it go. You need to walk through that process, and it's not for them, it's for you. It's so that you become the best version of yourself. All right, squad, y'all, don't forget to subscribe. Download this episode, y'all. Share it with someone. I have a goal of downloads that I would like to have. I'm not going to tell y'all what it is, but I'm believing that the squad is going to come through for your girl. That you're going to download this episode, that you're going to tell your friends to download this episode, that you're going to share it on your social media and all the things, because the truth is, it's not for me. It's because there's someone that needs to hear it. There's someone that needs to hear it. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I pray that something that was said resonates with you. If not with you, someone in your life. Y'all don't forget to subscribe, hit the link, share the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, squad. Next week, I'm very excited. I'm going to have the Juice Crush, some ladies here locally in Myrtle Beach that will be on the Squad podcast. It's two sisters that run a business together, and we are going to get into all the things. Y'all have an amazing day. I will see y'all later. Bye. Do you know an amazing woman that has a story that she needs to share? Yes, please send a message to the Squad Podcast on Instagram so that we can get her on the show. The purpose of this show is for us to share stories from women that other women can resonate with so they know that they're not alone in their fight. Y'all, go to the DM, send a message so we can reach out to who you know and have them on the show. Thank you.